Hey, again, welcome, me. I'm James, I cook. Smash that like button. Subscribe if this is even vaguely interesting, because I guarantee you, and you, but most of all you, that I'm gonna make this fun and interesting. He's lying.
We don't trust him. He's lying.
We're taking it seriously. This is a recipe that I didn't invent. Read up and got the basic ideas, and I'm like, oh, I should do that because that sounds delicious. So, like most recipes, that's exactly what I did. You start with butter. No, okay. You actually start with chicken thighs. Bone in, skin on. They're delicious. I get mine through a company called Crowd Cow. They send you food that's frozen. It's a very small, no factory farming. It's a bit expensive. I kind of think that in general, meat should be produced in a sustainable way. That's important. I mean, I don't think animals should be mistreated. I don't eat a lot of animals. I'm going to use 2 packages of this. They're about 1.5 pounds per package. There's generally 4 thighs in each one. And I'm going to use 2 of them because one serves my son and another one would serve everyone else. It's a braised dish, so that means we put it into this pan over here. It's actually really hot right now. We're going to brown it. Something called the Maillard reaction, which is to take the sugars that are inherent in the proteins and stuff, and it's going to brown it, which is sort of a caramelizing, which is kind of delicious. It adds loads of flavor, and it's worth the price of admission, although it's going to be very loud, because that is going to sizzle like nobody's business. So we start with chicken thighs. I'm going to use a separate cutting board for the chicken because I don't want cross-contamination, which I can then wash and sanitize and get it all nice. And then I'm going to keep my wood cutting board, which as we've discussed is like more bacteria resistant, antimicrobial. These are the main ingredients: green onion, ginger, garlic. Yep, more cutting of garlic. Seems to be like a thing I do. I'm going to use sake. I get these big bottles, and let's just settle on that. So we're going to pour this in. This is going to be some of our base for what's called braising, which is the process of putting in a medium amount of liquid into a dish that is covered tightly, goes into the oven, and just parties for like an hour, maybe a little bit more, until the meat starts breaking down from the temperature and the acids and the salts and the stuff. The acids that would be in here. Salt, soy sauce. There's a myriad of soy sauces out there. I go to Mitsuwa Market to do most of my shopping for Asian stuff. This is a light soy sauce, which you think, oh, light soy sauce, that must be less salty. Turns out it's not. It's actually way more salty tasting. So your mileage may vary, but try not to use light soy sauce in a dish like this. I have another video. I had actually shot of this prior to getting all these cameras set up. And when I did that, I accidentally put in too much. I just got kind of enthusiastic with the pour. I was holding a camera with one hand and pouring with the other, and I was like, I love all this soy sauce. Turned out too salty. I tasted it, even with the barely cooked chicken in there. So I tried it, and it was too salty. I took the red potatoes and I stuck them in between the chicken thighs. And that had the benefit of sucking up some of the extra salt, because that's what potatoes do. And it also made the potatoes really delicious. Let's get started. I'm going to chop up the veg real quick. So the green onion, you do in like 1-inch bits. It can be even more. You can do 2-inch. The reason I do this is because if you do it, in the really small, like you would find in a sushi bar, that's like paper thin and really small, stuff like this, or like this, is just going to disappear into nothingness when it gets into that. When it sits in the oven for an hour or an hour and a half. The garlic, just take the skin off, and we're just gonna do, it doesn't have to be complicated. There's nothing complicated about this dish. It is really almost like a Japanese country cooking, the Japanese stew. The way I cook it, it uses very similar. You can use any kind of meat for this, but my stew uses carrots and potatoes, like a beef stew. But I use the thin cut shabu shabu meat, or the sukiyaki meat. I did work in a Japanese restaurant. It was an experience. I got to learn how to do tempura, so I can cook tempura. Okay, so we have ginger. Save that puppy for later. Ginger comes with the skin on it, and you just use a carrot peeler. Peel the skin off. So I'm just gonna say we got this. Dangly. So I'm gonna say we got this. Pan's going. Pan's actually starting to turn colors because it's so hot. I just didn't want to have to heat it on tape. because I'm lazy. So it's just slices. Just slices. Oh, and the last thing I forgot to mention is this is it's a non-alcoholic sweet seasoning. Okay, so I'm gonna pop over my new. I'm gonna turn this down. This is crazy hot. It's like crazy hot, crazy. What I'm gonna do is we'll take out a bowl. The Hatton family melamine bowls, and I'm really just gonna pick up all this stuff I cut and put it in the bowl because it all just gets dumped in at the end. Switch to other board. This is chicken board. So, rules about chicken. I am not washing this because you don't wash it, because you're just, if it does have contamination, you're going to put it all over your kitchen. I'm also not going to season it too heavily because it is being cooked in soy sauce. So I find if I do too much salt here up front, I've buggered things up at the end. We washed hands. Clean hands. I actually used antimicrobial soap. There's a pandemic on. So if you're watching this in 3 years, it's 2020. We've all been locked in our houses for over 6 months. Everything is done via Zoom. And I own a visual effects business that's still around. It's doing okay. But I decided I needed a hobby, and I love to cook, and I like to cook for other people, and I like to talk, mostly to myself, which is fine. Everybody does it. It's nothing to be ashamed. So we're gonna salt this. It's just gonna be, a regular pinch from a height. So nothing if not consistent. I'm up here, kind of in front of my face, and this thing is just above my waist level. So I'm not gonna overdo it. So I don't know how many that was. You could count. I'm gonna do a little pepper, because I can. And again, I read this recipe once online and thought to myself, hey, you're a smart guy. You could do this with no preparation or practice. Hi, other camera. This is really hot. Just make sure everybody's gone. This is really hot, so I'm just gonna, and it's immediately going glossy and shiny and shimmery. Yeah, and smoky. So let's get some chicken in there. If there's a fire, just put a top on. This is doing the Lord's work right now. Again, pretty loud. I'll try to talk over it. So what we're doing here is we're browning. Temperature's kind of low. I've got a spatter guard on it because the stovetop gets completely destroyed by these. I'm going to do 2 batches of these. I'm going to do 4 and 4, and then I'm literally going to shove them all back in the pan. And then throw in this stuff, and then glugs of the other stuff until it seems like the right balance. And then I'm just gonna stick it in the oven. Just gonna put it in the oven. This is gonna need 3-4 minutes aside just to get it browned. The skin side down first. We really want the browning to happen on the skin. It's got a lot of fun flavors and textures. Shout out to all my Patreon. Yeah, I could start a Patreon. You pay me to entertain you and teach you how to cook simple and delicious foods, no matter how complex they are. I mean, that's a deal. Who wouldn't want that? So one of the tricks here is it will come up when it's ready. So if you go and lift one of these and they come up, it's ready. Put it up. And yeah, look at that. I'm gonna let that go. I'm probably just gonna bring in the other ones. I'm not gonna cut. Loud noises. Any melamine bowl. I'm gonna go over there. Why do we have so many melamine bowls? I mean, you're not supposed to put them in the microwave. You're not supposed to put them in the dishwasher. Hand wash. And yet I choose to use them. Mostly because it's got a handle. Which makes it handy. So, you hang out here a lot? I'm married. 16 years now. Isn't it great? My marriage can drive. I know, because it's driving me crazy. That meat is whack. I wouldn't trust him. You can trust me. I'm good for it. I love the jokes. The bulls.
They make me sound like Darth Vader.
Now I've contaminated the bowl. Here's where you should wash it, but I'm not going to because my bowl, and I'm only poisoning my own family. Let's go get our chicken. Hi. So I'm just gonna pop this out. Look at that. Look at that. You can see that, right? Yeah. It's almost cooked. You could just eat this right now. Okay, I'm gonna put the other chicken in now. Now that it's quiet in here. Alright. Into the sink, you dirty boy! So we're back and browning the second batch. I've also destroyed the stovetop, so that's fun. The stove is well oiled. Same deal. Just washing it. When do you make this meal? Well, you can make it on weeknights. You get home at like 4 and you do all your prep and you get it in the oven. You can eat by like 7, 8. I'm kidding. No, it's actually a relatively quick meal. If you have a big enough pan, you can do all of these at once. You don't have to do 2 separate batches. The reason we do, the reason we do, I said do. The reason we do separate batches is because you want the space, you want the pan to be able to stay hot, because if you put too many cold things into a pan, even if you had it blistering hot, as I did, it would still cool down and you'd lose your ability to do the browning. Hey, let's take a look at this. Spatters. Yeah, so I was raised in Sacramento, and we had a restaurant that we went to once a week, twice a week. Fuji's, it was called. And they had beef teriyaki with teriyaki sauce over the rice every time. My mom still eats it like that. My dad died from teriyaki overdose. No, it was cancer. It was cancer. I'm sorry. It could have been teriyaki overdose, though. You don't really know. This is embarrassing. I use these. They're pot holders. Silicone pot holder. Upside down. Silicone pot holder. Looks like a thing. So we're actually going to just do a whole puppeteer thing. Hey, what's in there? Is that chicken? This is good. Yes, it's chicken. Oh. Where's the other one of me? Oh, I didn't think you were going to ask. Well, the tripod's stuck in it. So if I try and move that, this camera falls over. You're an idiot. What? What? Can you believe this? Oh. This is done. Even if it's not done, it's done. It's getting cooked in the oven for like an hour. This is going to be daring. Just added a bunch to the pan. First thing I'm going to add, sake. Second thing I'm going to add, sweet stuff. It is fairly sweet. I'm not measuring this because I don't do that sort of thing. And then there's soy sauce. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. I had to do it. Okay. Because there's always potatoes. There's always potatoes. That's racist. Don't do that. I'm gonna put some butter in this. You gonna do like 2 tablespoons of butter? Yeah, there's that. This is how we do this. You just dump it in. Oh, it jumped. Okay, so I have a secret little ingredient I think I'm gonna use. My secret ingredient is in a shoju cup. It's water. It's been boiling, therefore it's food safe, right? That's how bacteria works. Yeah, that's really good. That's really good. That's really good. Just kidding. Be food poisoning. Into the oven. And the next time you get to see it, it's gonna be done. Completely done. 2 towels. Oven open. Fire off. Chicken in. Okay, that's it for now. Thanks for coming to my party. I made a mess and I have to go clean. So it just falls apart. And you put that over some rice. Rice.